The last pitch I want to talk about is what I would call the competition pitch. So I've been lucky enough to be able to serve as a judge for a number of different competitions on the collegiate and in the professional level. And the major piece that's different about a competition pitch is the understanding of what is said versus what is given out to judges. I found that a lot of times, especially student entrepreneurs, they will try to pack as much information into a competition pitch as possible, but not give judges any handouts or any information about financial statements or things of that nature. Remember that in a competition pitch, the major thing that you're trying to do with the judges is to try to make your project or your business seem like a no-brainer that can make money. And that means using persuasive language and persuasive arguments in the presentation. A number of different pieces like pro forma statements and financials and market testing, that can all be given to judges after you do your pitch or before your pitch starts. So in a competition pitch, you're going to be much more persuasive and use much more psychology than you would any of the other pitches where you aren't able to actually leave materials behind. So in talking about the different pitches, here are a few key points just to remember if we're going to summarize everything we've talked about. The first key point has to really do with be clear on what you do and who you're talking to. One of the major things you need to understand is that most businesses and most services have been highly commoditized. We always used to say in marketing, when someone goes to a hardware store and buys a hammer, they're not really buying a hammer, they're buying a hole in the wall, because that's oftentimes what you want. So make sure that you're clear on what your product actually does. You could say that a product like Facebook gives you a chance to like and gives you a chance to post pictures, but really what it does is it connects people. And so think very deeply about what your product actually does, what your company actually does, and make sure that folks in a pitch understand that. Also, you want to know who you're talking to. So we talked about understanding who the audience is and making sure that you are providing them with information that they're looking for to make an educated decision. Also, in going into it, try to figure out what your audience actually knows beforehand. If you're going in front of a number of seasoned investors, it will be a very different pitch than if you're going in front of a panel of judges who do not know much about your product. Understand that for the folks who you're going into maybe in a competition who do not know a lot about your product, you're going to spend much more time being persuasive. Whereas if you're going in front of industry peers, you're probably going to use a lot more hard and fast data and a lot more research that backs up your claims that your product is better. Finally, the last piece that you want to remember is make sure you're focused around your timing and your audience. Each of the different pitches that we've discussed has a different time period, and so you want to make sure you're focusing the information that you're giving around that time period, and also make sure you're focusing it on the audience. Does it have to be a pitch that you're sending to someone who's a multimillionaire in your industry, or is it a pitch to grandmom and granddad to let you borrow $5,000 to start your venture? So what is important is remembering the timing of your pitch and who the audience is. So in this video, I've tried to talk through a number of different pitches that an entrepreneur might run into in the sales cycle. Hopefully you can get some information from this to help make pitching an enjoyable experience for you and everyone in your company. Once again, I'm Dr. Dan Young from Goldey-Beacom College, Doctor of Business Administration program, and have a great day.